So today's date is January 20th, 2023. My name is Kelly Zakovic, and I'm representing the City of Savannah Municipal Archives. I'm interviewing Mr. Isaac White for the Savannah Community Memory Project. We're conducting this interview at the Crusaders Community Center. So thank you for joining us.
Good morning. What'd you say? Okay.
So can you tell us your full name?
Isaac White,
Alrighty. And what neighborhood are you here to tell us about?
Coffee Bluff.
Coffee Bluff. Alright. And how would you define the geographic boundaries of Coffee Bluff?
The river. This excuse me. There's a divide up where this road changes from Coffee Bluff to White Bluff. That's the division.
Okay. And that's
So if you're on this side of that, I can't remember Nicholson. I forget the name of the street there, but it'll let you know you're going from Coffee Bluff into White Bluff. So that was how I would describe it.
okay. When were you born?
1937,
And where were you born?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Alrighty. What were your parents' names?
Josephine Branch, Reuben White.
And where did you grow up?
Philadelphia.
Okay. When did you move down here?
1983.
And what brought you down here?
I look for a change of pace, especially for my son.
Were your parents from this area?
Yeah, I live probably 100 feet from where my mother was born. It's 150 feet.
Very nice.
So, yeah, I have a lot of kin down here. So,
Okay. So where do you live now?
on Coffee Bluff Road.
Okay. So you've lived here since the 1980s?
83.
83. And your parents were born and raised here? Were they born here?
My
or
mother
were
was
they...
born here in Coffee Bluff. My father was born down in Meridian, Georgia.
Okay. So since you've been here, who are some of the important leaders or people in the community?
Past? Say that again?
Who are some of the important leaders or people we should know about for Coffee Bluff and White Bluff?
Lewis Hall. I don't know. I don't get out much anymore. I don't know who's left. Bill, I can't think of his name, but I'll have his name before we leave because it'll be in there. Bill, Lewis, and Billy Boy. We call him Billy Boy. But
And what should we know about Lewis Hall?
he's son of a second cousin of mine. So but during life, he lives with me. I raised him a little bit. So that's what I know about Lewis Hall.
Okay. And what about Billy Boy?
Just from visiting down here, it's Billy Boy. Billy Boy. And I used to enjoy it. I used to come here just about every summer.
And so what do you remember about coming here in the summers?
Kicking off the shoes. We didn't have no paved roads out here. And back in them days, all the roads and driveways, people had oyster shells there. And they harvested seafood. That's what they sold. That was The men would go catch it, and the women had to take it, prepare and take it to town, sell it. Yeah. She liked all the different trees that are going. Vines, grapevines, pear trees, peaches, oranges, all kind of stuff around there. But they're all gone now. And there was a nut they used to call a chinky pen. Most people have never heard of it.
No, what is that?
Chinky pen is about the size of an acorn, but it changes as it ripens. It changes color. It's a soft skin, maybe you found on a chestnut or something, and it was a real sweet nut inside, But nobody knows where to find. And it was playing right across the street years ago. That man gets involved and it goes to naught.
Do you remember going to any specific churches, or was your family affiliated with any?
Basically the one right there, Second Mount Pleasant. That was I think a distinction down here. This little community from here to right now, this is a large community to what it used to be. It's about maybe not quite to Windsor Road. There was like 4 churches, and each of them would take a Sunday. First Sunday belongs to this church, second. And a lot of people, if it wasn't their church Sunday, they wasn't going nowhere else. So, it changed too, because many people moved here from various places. They brought their likes and dislikes with them, and as members of the community, they were deserving to be heard.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember any of the businesses that were out here, or even more recently, any important businesses?
The last business was the Brown Derby over here. I'm talking about licensed businesses. You always have a little shot house here, shot house, but the Brown Derby. And down there at the end, they had the boat lift place down there, and a lot of people used to buy and sell a lot of seafood down there. But, it's over on, it's a street over here called Rosedew Road. Rosedew Road, matter of fact, this is right, I lost my thought. I'm gonna get back to
Businesses?
I'm lost now.
Yeah.
It takes me a second to get off line.
Were there any businesses on Rosedew Road? Business on Rosedew Road?
Oh yeah, right on that corner, on the southeast corner of Rosedew and Coffee Bluff, was the store.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, he had the whole thing, you crank your gas, and, the thing filled up and measured. He had everything that I guess people could think about, a lot of stuff was come in bulk, potato chip or Johnny cake or whatever. It was in abundance, And he probably got rich because he had everybody getting it on the till. So they paid him for it 4 or 5 times, And the man is called Smith John. That's what we call Smith John. But he said a big old long knife that they cut he didn't have no slicer machine. He cut it with that big old knife,
For meats?
Huh?
For meats? What did he cut with the big knife?
Cheese and bologna and stuff like that. He cut it, they sliced it with the knife, and they didn't have, matter of fact, all where we are now, there was no electricity people had it in the house all along the street, and I wasn't know that. And people who lived here, they could walk out this door at midnight, no moon, and know their way. They can see. Someone's just visiting, you don't see none of what they see.
Yeah.
So I made it a little awkward. But I always enjoyed coming here, so finally I bought a piece of land, built a house, and moved here.
Do you know about when they got streetlights and stuff?
Oh, let's see. Most of the paved, like besides Coffee Bluff Road, all those other little roads, is it Coffee Bluff? And no, I'm not going to go there because there's a lot of little streets there. But I would say I've been since '83. In the '90s, it started lighting it up pretty good. You might have one light from here to who knows, and then you're back in total darkness. Just about to see some lights from somebody's house, and it was well, they made a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way, or where there's a need, there's a way.
That's true. So when you come here, what kind of stuff would there be to do for fun?
Oh, the Brown Derby was another place called Bob and Dolly's or something like that. It was the same type of place. That works uniquely because in the daytime it was all the kids coming in by their bubble gum or whatever and run around, might play some music, but they were tolerated in it. But after a certain time, they knew, okay, your party's over, you gotta go. You know, I mean, that was just a standard rule. When the adults was in their party, you know, drinking, it's not a place for a child. They had a lot of little things like that they did. Purchasing this land that we're on now. Back in the, I don't know what year it was, but back when my mom was born in 1905. And back in them days, you bought a piece of land, you might have paid $30, but it was hard to get $30. And you want $30, how many years you get, you know? But a lot of people today say, well, they only pay thus and such. And this will work, inflation.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of crab and shrimp to sell.
Huh?
It's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, each generation, the truth, I'm talking that against myself in a way because I don't want to talk about what I'm talking, but I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I did. Mm-hmm. But years ago, all this here was like swampy area. Swampy, plus gators, snakes, mosquitoes, and a lot of the people that settled here came from the offshore islands, Ossabaw, St. Catharines, from all over down, especially now, like the Harris Neck and all those places like that. I was saying about the churches, it was according to what island you was from, what group you got with, and what church you went to. So there's a lot of little things that they weren't said, but you learned that. And that's the way you were raised. Certain things you just don't even think about doing it. So I learned. Yes, I did. I learned that a 10-year-old boy could be mighty embarrassed by something an adult would say to them.
Like what?
And there's a bunch of, what they used to do right across the street from here, they'd come back with the oysters, whatever they came, and they'd get together and divvy it up or do whatever they had to do, and then get around a fire, and that's where they open the oysters, you know. And my uncle was trying his best to teach me how to do that. I wasn't getting it, you know, and they don't. And he could see I was getting frustrated. He said, "Boy, I'm going to show you one more time how to do this." He said, "Boy, you dumber than that oyster. That oyster that born in the water that never swam." You know, and I remember that today. I'm 86, almost 86 years old, and I remember that. And I can't open an oyster now. Yeah. Yeah. And other things you might learn is how people preserve foods. You know, the mason jars, they'd can up with, when they harvest the garden, and they tomatoes or peaches, whatever you know. And they had those big canning parties. And as a kid, maybe you didn't have any responsibility, but you got to see the other kids who came with their parents, and that was fun. Sometimes some of the social clubs or whatever, and they had a million out there.
Do you remember what any of them were?
Huh?
Do you remember what any of the social clubs were?
I don't know if they had names. I'm not talking about building social. I'm talking about actually a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I don't know. A lot of them just went by last names or whatever, and they got things. They purchased this land, and this whole tract of land that this building sits on. And they purchased it so their children will have a place to play off the street. Well, I'm still perplexed to figure out how we don't have any feet, because we used to run up and down this road, and the road was all oyster shell. So how we didn't get sliced up, it's beyond me. But we did it. But that just shows you, when it's the right time, things happen. Mm-hmm. It was not right. Not gonna be.
What are some of the other surrounding neighborhoods out here? Names?
Yeah. Yeah, I have an allergy, and it just dries. You got Pinpoint. You have Sandfly. What's that? I forgot what they call this one now. Maybe. And probably Richmond Hill could probably be categorized. You know, we have to go boom to get there. But we got in the water just over there.
Would people do that? Would they get in the water and go?
That's how
places?
they travel.
That's how you got around?
Because everybody at the end of, I think it was one down here and one all the way down to Marina, place where they could put their boats in and take it out. And people, that's the way they made their living. And so it's I guess in their way, generate that energy towards that, you know. Mm-hmm. And 9 out of 10 times it works.
So how has this area changed since you've lived here?
Lots of a lot of forestry, lots of hunting here, if you will. You know, restrictions on when you can use a firearm, and you can't. You know, and I imagine all those had to be figured out somewhere, because otherwise you're back in the Wild West. But when you see it happens, you know, one man from this community said, well, it was at a community meeting, And I don't know if it was in this building or the other one. And it says, oh my. They were talking about Alzheimer's. Must be. I lose my thoughts sometimes in the middle of speech.
Mm.
And I'm sorry about that. But I can't think of what it was now.
Any other ways that it's changed, or any
Oh,
anything's
well,
changed out here? Or
Yeah,
meetings?
well, like I said about the food, I'm back halfway on track. But when you see things that you used to, my mom used to say, you ever see these big plants with great big ears? They call them elephant ear. When she was coming up, a child got fever, you take and wrap them up in that, and that whole leaf is going to turn black, but there won't be no fever. So what causes it, I don't know. But as long as man has been on earth, he has always had what he needs to survive. Yeah, we don't utilize it like we should. Sometimes we brutalize it. But there's always somebody close by, and, give and take half a mile. There's always somebody who know how to treat this kind of wound or this kind of illness. And there was somebody in that community, it might be like that now. Somebody in this community will tell you, oh man, you go over and get you a piece of that bark, man, you boil it down, and it works. But so we just modernized it and took the humanity out and put it to more machine. And so things change, and you gotta change with the change if you're gonna survive. So I'm accustomed to being around here. You may take this as being real quiet, but to me it's not quiet anymore. You can walk out your door and leave it up, go to town or wherever. Nobody gonna bother them. Because there's always someone like look at hey, they ain't home. After they say that, you better get the booking because they got the eye on you.
50 years from now, what should we remember about this area as it is today?
There's a lot of transformation taking place. This place where we're sitting at now, the whole building wasn't much more than this, and that took it for a mighty long time. I used to sit back here with those kiddie bars and stuff was back there, and it was, as long as I can remember, it was leaning, and it was an old frame building. But things like that, you see it as a child or a young adult, and I wouldn't say it doesn't have any meaning to it, but it has a wide spectrum about what. Oh boy.
Sorry about that.
But you see things, at least I see things, and it was. I can't tell you why you see a lion. I don't see the lion you see, but I don't know. I can't say that you don't see it. And that's why children can do so nicely if left alone with other children, because they still have enough common sense to know. But adults, the whole balloon burst. And I remember some of the Wileys. My grandmother was a Wiley. Wiley was a big name now. There's lots of Wileys, lots of Halls. There's more of them, but I just can't recall the names of all of them. But I forgot what she asked me.
No, just tell us
What
anything
was I
else.
explaining to you?
I think we were just kind of talking about how it's changed and all the
Yeah.
different
You know,
families.
how to get on the family thing is what I was trying to figure. What did I switch over and where did I? I'm glad I'm taking this with amusement, but it's frustrating in a way.
I think we were talking about the kids and kids playing together and the
Yeah.
adults.
Well, I think that thought was that they have a better sense of sharing. They're not so possessive. Yeah, I can't take that wholeheartedly. Sometimes they can make themselves known, but children are more pure in thought than adults. That's just the way it is. If you leave kids without any harsh restriction, they'll figure it out.
Is that how it was when you were a kid out here?
I was glad to get out so I could get out of sight. We go way out there, and today I'm definitely afraid of a snake. But as soon as they would let us out the house here on Coffee Bluff Road, you got any chores to do that, and boom, we went right out in the woods. We stayed out in the woods. Nothing on our feet, but you're talking about change? That's a lot of change there. I can have a shoe on and get a splinter now, but, and like I said, people threw oyster shells, they had piles of it in the yard. And it stayed that way until the environmental people said, well, no, you need to put them back in the water, and more oysters will grow from that. And so that's not the usage of them as crushing on the, they look nice when they're clean, but and you get some mean cuts from them,
I would not want to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you ever participate in any of the reunions or?
Oh yes, we have plenty. I can remember the first one. I came down and I had 2 children, and it was such an experience for them. Man over there, they had 2 hogs to kill, and the kids got to see pigs born and pigs die, and pig or barbecue on that. And to me, that was an education. They'd seen all the processes of, what they had to do to get that bacon. Yeah. And another family reunion, we took off, we went on a cruise. Sometimes you just take buses from there and go down to Daytona and stay down there, so Jacksonville, for a weekend,
That's a family reunion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say the micro family. Everybody don't want to do the same thing all the time, so.
Did you ever go to any of the old Bluff reunions or the Nicholson
Oh
Borough?
yeah, right here. That's how right in this building, the room across the hall. And it's growing every year. It seems to be growing, and a lot of people find out who they really are, what bloodline they come from. That's these family reunions like that. And when I moved here, I was an oddball because some of the things that I thought, ways that I thought about certain things, people thought that it was too abrupt or this, you know, you got to beg for, I never was that type of person. And when I first came here, about the first summer I was here, and I went to this reunion over in, it was being held on Hilton Head, at, I think it's called a Racket Club, but it was Hampton County. It was a county reunion as opposed to a family reunion. And I thought that was so big, it's huge. And everybody seemed to know somebody or knew somebody that's in that family or whatever. And I tried to get that done here because there's families every year. One's coming from here and one's going back to the old home site. And if they had a community reunion, you got people all around this county come together. It's not so narrow anymore, you know. And so that finally took a hold. You know, people thought, I probably talked too much, but a lot of people thought that speaking up is being, you have a saying, that being bigoted or something. And I just never thought of it that way. And so something that I might suggest as Deep Six, because my ideas was wrong. You know, I talked to so and so a certain way, but I'm still here.
So since you grew up in Philadelphia and then you moved back, were you accepted in the community? You know, because you know, went
That's what I just finished telling you.
Oh, okay. So included. Okay.
You'll find, or at least I find, that people can be vindictive. People can be very nasty, put it that way, and they can disguise it in so many ways. So there were some disappointments, but some was expected. I spent like 12 years in the military. So moving from one location and locating in another, that didn't affect me like it would some people, you know, because I've done it so many times.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about the White Bluff, Coffee Bluff area?
Probably if I could think about it, I'd probably have 1,000. But usually I get thrown thrown off by slightest thing. But no, I appreciate the society. He said, this is, what society is it?
So we're with the city of Savannah with the municipal archives, but we've been working
National, the archive is the words I was trying to figure.
Oh.
But I'm in appreciation of this area being archived. I don't know, anybody ever tell you about really the old people from down there? There's a book really you can get to. It's called Drums and Shadows.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They mentioned my grandmama by name in there.
Okay.
Her name was Susan Branch, but they called her Sookie. And
Very interesting. Anything you'd like to say about her, Drums and Shadows, or anything else?
I know, yeah, I was glad to see finally that people could write this here, you know, and not be criticized. But I come up when things were very different. I used to like to be here because it's wide open, you know. But the politics down there had an odd odor to it, you know. something I was sort of looking for, even though I might not accept it, but I was aware of, And after a while, you blend it, they blend it, you go out your merry way.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your memories with us today. Oh, got something else?
Do I need these here, or how do I get those? I don't know which ones they want. They want something showing them the Brown Derby and neighborhood things that has some pictures on that. And so how do I present them for the...
So when we're done here, when we turn off the cameras, I'll walk you over and we've got a little digitization studio over there and she'll scan the photos for you.
Yes, that's what I want there.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let me cut this off. Thank you for sharing with us and we're grateful to have you here.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me.